Now we're on number 77, Mortification.
Mortification. 77, mortification. Also, live as though you're dying. Pleasure hating, no pain, no gain. An ancient fallacy of logos trying to beat the flesh into submission by extreme exercise or ascetic practices, deliberate starvation or infliction of pain, denying the undeniable fact that discomfort and pain exist for the purpose of warning of lasting damage to the body. Extreme examples of this fallacy are various forms of self-flagellation, such as practiced by the New Mexico penit, pen, penitents during Holy Week or by Shia devotees during Muharram. More familiar contemporary manifestations of this fallacy are extreme insanity exercise regimes not intended for normal health. Hang on, I got to read that again. I know what it's saying. I just want to say it more clearly for the listeners. More familiar contemporary manifestations of this fallacy are extreme insanity exercise regimes, not. Oh, I still said it wrong. One more time. More familiar contemporary manifestations of this fallacy are extreme insanity exercise regimes not intended for normal health, fitness, or competitive purposes, but just to toughen or punish the body. Certain pop nutritional theories and diets seem based on this fallacy as well. Some contemporary experts suggest that self-mortification, an English word related to the Latinate French root mort or death, is in fact suicide on the installment plan. Others suggest that it involves a narcotic-like addiction to the body's natural endorphins. The opposite of this fallacy is the ancient fallacy of hedonism, seeking and valuing physical pleasure as a good in itself, simply for its own sake. Man, these are so interesting.
I remember there was a time that you were doing this one a lot, and I was telling you this is a fallacy, and you
When, what,
didn't want to hear it.
when
Um,
I'm curious because there's one that I'm thinking of in my mind, but I'm curious what you're thinking.
isn't insanity like a type of workout? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's what that's what
The,
it's literally referencing,
it's
right?
called insanity. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is talking about. That and the fad that I think is starting to go away of like um what was it? Uh Ice baths. That was a lot more popular like earlier last year or something like that, and now I
Oh
think it's
no,
starting to
it's
go away.
no, it's a huge thing. Still a huge thing.
I think okay. I I'm seeing it less than I did last year is what I'm saying.
It exploded last year in popular site, but in terms of people doing it, it's a huge thing.
Yeah. Um yeah, there was multiple things, mostly that one and insanity. Sometimes I don't think you specifically did this unless maybe you did and you just didn't share it. But yeah, I've seen people do some crazy ass diets that just like are very questionable just because they heard someone on the internet say they should do it.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, just the no pain, no gain. Like if you're feeling pain, that means it's working. Oh, that's this fallacy. And yeah, anyways, I'm sure you have a lot to say on this one.
Yeah, to me, there's like a fine line on this one. So for like, it's interesting. Like what's happening as we're reading these is there are blurred lines that are becoming divided, which is great because it's like I can see in some of these. Uh, I can see like where before there was a blurred line and now it's clearly separate. So for me, mortification, I've definitely believed this at one point in my life. Um, Definitely followed through with it. And definitely was it was a result, I think, of some like some behavioral or some belief of like self-punishment, thinking that I deserve to experience some levels of pain, that life needs to be painful, but also a little bit of lack of maturity on my end of being able to understand like how to connect myself to the benefit of something over connecting myself to the pain of the thing. Um, and like, yeah, because it's like example on cold plunges. There is so much evidence that there's so much scientific evidence that supports the positive effects of cold plunging consistently. There's
I've
tons of evidence.
seen.
This is something that we can't like, there's an insane amount of evidence for it.
I would love to see it. I have only seen that it's placebo at best.
Okay. That we'd have to that
I'm
would
open to yeah, I'm open to changing my mind. Maybe we'll have to extend this one into another discussion regarding that.
you know,
But yeah,
but
the
no.
science that I've seen is that for some people that like it, they they like this feeling and it makes them feel and do all these extra things that are better for them, none of which can be distinguished from placebo. You could get all of that from placebo, and they're getting it because of placebo. And they also found that the same thing works with other people that like uh, extremely hot temperatures. So just extremely hot jacuzzi, they would feel the same thing, and they get the same benefits. It's placebo for them. Um, so that is the science that I've seen. It's indistinguishable from placebo
Interesting. We'll have to, yeah,
at best. At best, other I've seen that for some people it can harm them.
interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating because that would be in total contrary to everything that I know about it. So I'd be curious to dive more into it. So we'll pull away from that example. We'll go into instead something that is less debatable, which would be high intensity interval training versus non-high intensity interval training. So example, if you take a 30-minute workout or even a 10-minute workout and you incorporate peak intensity rest, peak intensity rest, peak intensity rest, you can get, in terms of physiological benefit, you can get significantly more physiological benefit and calorie burning and all the things by working out in that fashion than if you were to never reach peak intensity and to have like a consistent low level of workout for 2 hours. So there's a lot of argument for high intensity interval training to be a very effective way to burn calories, give physiological benefit, etc. And so for me, it's like mortification would be if one was going to high intensity interval training because the person loves or believes that they need to make themselves feel exhausted and like because it hurts, because it's awful, that's why it's going to be better versus focusing on, hey, there's proven to be better results in this way, focus on the results, not the pain. To me is where I like at one point in my life, I definitely was of the camp of like, if I didn't throw up when I worked out, then it wasn't a good workout. When in reality, it's like, nope, that's not actually effective. So yeah, that's what comes up for me on this one.
Um, I used to work out a lot more, especially when I was in Vector. I don't think I went quite as far. Um, but I remember I did work out every single day back then. And did I feel happier when I did it? Yes, absolutely. Um, I nowadays I do a lot of walking. Um, I walk about say like maybe 2 to 3 miles a day, something like that. And there was I saw something of a science communicator that specializes in health and fitness um, debunk something that Andrew Tate said. I think it was Andrew Tate who said you can't burn calories while walking. You have to run.
Mm.
And while there are definitely cardio benefits to running, um, scientifically, uh, moving your body the same distance will burn the same amount of calories whether you're walking or running. So you do not need to if you just want to lose calories, you don't need to run. You can walk it. It'll take way more time. And there are cardio benefits to running. But if it's just calories, you actually don't need to run. Walking is fine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is that's mortification. Yeah, again, I would love to be proven wrong about anything in general, obviously. But regarding the ice baths, I'd love to be proven wrong. It's just that during that time, every single thing when it was way bigger, when it exploded,
Yeah.
um, and science communicators were talking about it, uh, it was that there wasn't enough data at the beginning of it to say whether or not it was beneficial or not. Um, so they were looking more into it, and then later on, it seemed that a lot of it was confirmation bias. That like a lot of people would be doing that, and then they would experience this better thing in their life, and they said that better thing in my life happened because I started doing the ice baths in the same way that what was it that we were looking at earlier? I think oh no, wait. I think we were just talking about it. Where we were saying you feed somebody this thing and all of a sudden their illness went away. And it was like, no, their
Yeah.
illness that would have happened on their own. You just coincidentally ate that thing. Um, it's kind of the same thing here that at best it's placebo and confirmation bias. And so what makes it scientific is you have to find where it fails. So if the claim, I heard someone claim this, and this is like pushing it to the extreme, obviously, but somebody said doing ice baths cured their cancer. Like no fucking way. Um, and so it's like, okay, if that is the case, give everyone with a cancer diagnosis ice baths and see if that uh goes down more than the people that don't. And like that would be the falsifiability criteria, right?
Yeah.
That's how you
Yeah.
actually test it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it'd be to hopefully no one's surprised that it would come back as the same results, which means that it was just confirmation bias. That person was going to get over cancer on their own, and they just happened to take an ice bath. So, yeah, that's what I've seen. So when you say a lot of evidence and all of the evidence, it's just when people did an ice bath, it did this for them. That's not evidence scientifically. You need falsifiability criteria to test against placebo, and that's real evidence. I've not seen any. And
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with either uh, Dr. Rhonda Patrick or Andrew Huberman?
no, I you might have sent me those 2 years ago or something like that. I'm not
No,
sure.
no,
Um,
I haven't sent you those. Both. So Andrew Huberman, he is a neuroscientist and a professor at Stanford University who has repeatedly researched and also reported the positive benefits of cold plunges. Dr. Rhonda Patrick is someone else who also has reported tons of findings on both the benefits of sauna and cold plunge.
Right.
Yeah,
I would like
across
to
the
see their
board.
falsifiability criteria. Like, because anybody can say there's the positive benefits of doing this. Okay, now how do we distinguish that from placebo and confirmation bias? That is the thing. Because
Sure.
otherwise it's placebo. It
Yeah,
could
and
be or could
and
be
for me,
placebo.
I haven't, to be clear, I haven't looked into the falsifiability criteria of either of them. However, they're both PhDs. They both it's their life's work to study these things. So for me, it's like I go, okay, then that
Sure.
the automatic assumption on my end, which this could be wrong, right? But the automatic assumption on my end is if this person's a professor at Stanford University and this person's a doctor and this is what they do, like their findings are probably accurate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when it comes to uh and this is like one very specific example. Normally it's worse when it comes to like things that could be influenced by cults. This is nowhere near a cult. Um but you'll always find someone that has some degree and say, well, because they say so, it must be true. That is argument from authority. So, what isn't an argument from authority? If a bunch of scientists are saying it, what isn't is a scientific consensus. So, when one scientist publishes something, then other scientists can pick it apart. They can do the test themselves and try to falsify it. And if they can't falsify it, then they will begrudgingly say, "I think he has a point." And then that's when science moves forward. So I've not seen that this. I feel like if this was a thing, we would have discovered this a very long time ago because it's so simple. But I feel part of it is a fad. If there are some scientists saying it, I'll look into it, see if they published anything that is peer reviewed. Because if it's just I'm a scientist and listen to me, that could be a setup for them getting more attention on whatever social media platform or whatever. If they are going on shows and they're getting paid for that, that could be a setup for that. So I would like to see what they're publishing as far as peer review goes. I would have to look into Google Scholar to see what they're actually publishing in the science. Because again, yeah, if it's just someone who has a science degree and they have, even if they've been a practicing scientist and they're just saying a thing, but they're not publishing anything, that is like major red flags for somebody just making shit up because they have the scientist label and they want to use their argument from authority to make money.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I don't, I'd be really shocked if that was what either of these people were doing.
I certainly hope not. Again, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is legit and it's just not talked about much by scientists because it's just not entertaining for them. But typically, um, I because I the again the only science that I have seen about the topic has very much been at best inconclusive, unsupported, or placebo and confirmation bias. And then at worst, that the cold plunges for some people have more negative attributes than even the positive placebo is giving them. So yeah, at best, I've seen scientifically, at best it does nothing, at worst it does harm people, at least modestly. Um,
I'm looking at both these people just to double check, and I was just like, I was curious, like, so, oh, Andrew Huberman. No one introduces him as Dr. Andrew Huberman. So like, is he even a doctor? And I'm like, yes, he is. He got his PhD and a postdoc, and then also in neuroscience. And then Dr. Rhonda Patrick is a scientist and health communicator in biomedical science. So these are people who, yeah, they themselves have dedicated their lives to researching these things. So what I'll do is I'll send you info on them because again, if There is a truth to that cold plunging became a fad and it just like everyone started doing it. That's totally real.
Yeah.
Um, and um, the it's one of those things that I don't think it was a fad out of nowhere. It's like there's example like well, I don't want to make cases here because I wouldn't be able to cite specific studies, but there are certain benefits that I've been made aware of on cold plunges that have driven me to do it rather than a fad doing it. And so, and those benefits are from both of these people. So I'd be curious your thoughts on them.
Yeah, yeah. Uh yeah, a lot to look into on that. Again, I would love to see more uh I'm all for like if something is great, like I want people to know about it.
Yeah.
Uh I'm also just very much against pseudoscience, misinformation, and everyone believing a thing because they want the thing to be true rather than it might not being true. And because I think like that, uh, not necessarily. I think let's say it comes out that more science has been done and it is indeed entirely placebo. Um, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna like tell anyone you shouldn't do a cold plunge. Like if it makes you feel good, go ahead. Even the scientists that I've seen are saying that uh like look, it's placebo, so if it makes you feel good, do it. It's still gonna make you feel good. So just do it. That's what I've seen. But like yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that type of thinking that oh,
Yeah.
if I only look for things in support, I should believe it. That type of thinking can be dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to like push against. But like, yeah, I feel like cold plunges, even if the science says meh, do it. If it makes you feel good, go ahead. I think it's great. Genuinely. I think it's great. So yeah. But yeah, let more information needed. And if Alan and I discover anything, I'll post it in the comments or something like that. Just any update. Um,
Yeah. I'll send you their names and some links, so that way it's easier for you to take a look at. And if you want to do some independent research, you can too.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Alan. You're the best. I am excited to see you in a couple months and
Yeah,
have.
maybe we could do an episode in person.
I would love to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? I was trying to think like, what if we can do a live stream and then we just do one live.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
fun.
fun.
Yeah, something else I want to call this out too, and just acknowledge it. I think it's important in these discussions. Is like I noticed that when so this is something that's important for me to look at. Is I firmly believe um, in the evidence to support cold plunging and sauna, because it's been something that's been a part of my life for such a long time, but it's been also by so many different sources that are all unrelated. They've said facts about it, and those facts all line up and match. So to me, like that's like where the belief comes from. But what I noticed is that when you said no, when you shook your head, I got angry, and I don't. I'm like looking back, and and literally just um I'm like not kidding, like maybe like 3 hours ago, I was sending a voice note to a client who was asking me questions. And one of the things I said to them was, I said, it's important to pay attention to anytime extreme emotion comes up in either direction, because both of which are really valuable in our understanding of the world. And what I said was, if it's a positive swing, if we're experiencing things like joy, euphoria, happiness, etc., fantastic. Take full account of what's happening in that space because it's likely that whatever was happening at that moment was something that is really a core ingredient to what's going to allow you to be fulfilled and happy in life. I said, and then on the other end of the spectrum, when we feel extreme negative emotions or uncomfortable emotions, it usually shows a window into some type of wound, pain, unresolved thing. And so I wanted to just kind of like name forward that I noticed like I was looking at my face while I was talking to you, and in real time I was like, man, I'm fucking angry. My facial color is increasing. I'm scowling. I'm getting louder. I'm getting more short with my words. I'm also unwilling to enter into like a calm, dropped in curiosity. Fascinating. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that I definitely got angry there, and I don't know why. And so for me, it's like I want to acknowledge that that happened, but then also let you know that the intention now is like, okay, I'm gonna go figure out what the fuck that was about because it was such an
Yeah.
extreme reaction that I'm now like, okay, that needs to be looked at. There's something up there that they gotta take a look at.
Yeah, if I were to give my assumption, I think that it's totally natural that a lot of people, when they attach an identity to a belief or a thing that they do, and I guess in this case both, um, that anytime that the idea is challenged, the same part of the brain as a violent attack goes off when you're attacking, challenging somebody's beliefs.
Yeah.
And so that would be my assumption. But again, I would love to be wrong as much as I'd love to be right. Because I'd like to know what's actually correct or not. So I think the practice that uh we're still working on is detaching ourselves from sacred ideas
Yeah.
to uh learning the evidence is uh is better than whatever preconceived
Yeah.
notions that we've had.
They-
That's my assumption of how you're feeling.
Yeah, I think also part of it too is like um there's a lot of so a couple other factors I'm thinking of right now is there's been such a significant amount of time that I've spent in cold plunges. And so it's like I've also spent a lot of time in saunas and working on incorporating these things into a beyond a physiological, trying to culminate certain physiological results, also using them to culminate certain emotional and mental results. Like example is regardless of the science of cold plunges, whether it supports that it's placebo or not. One of the big reasons why I do it is because a cold plunge is exorbitantly uncomfortable. And so for me to get into a cold plunge, the challenge I take myself in is how quickly can I calm down my body while my body is wanting to clench, freak out, lose control of breathing? Like how quickly can I drop myself into a calm state while everything that my environment is telling my body to do is to freak out? And that particular practice to me has been so pivotal in um, it's been so pivotal in my own personal practice, but it's also been so pivotal in what I've promoted to people to do to benefit their health and benefit their mental function and all of that. And they're also their emotional resilience. So I think what was happening in that moment is when you shook your head and were like, no, I think what was also happening was there's a part of me that was attaching my value, my own personal value that I bring to the world to this recommendation and to this thing. And when you shook your head and was like, nope, that's not true, how it fed into was, oh no, he's not saying no to cold plunge evidence. He's saying no to the validity of my experience and saying no to the what's it? Uh to the validity of my life's work. And so it was like at that, and thus, if my life's work is invalid, I am invalid. So it was like a whole thing that happened in that moment. I know you said, hey, if we identify with it, but I was like, no, I need to talk this out a little bit more because it was again, it was such an extreme response as I'm like looking back at myself and noticing my body language and my body experience. So I was like, man, what the fuck is going on there? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's what I
Um,
brought up.
and again, I want to reiterate just for everyone, placebo does not mean it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean that like the results you get out of it don't matter. they absolutely matter. Whatever you do, it's simply saying whatever you do to trigger that thing doesn't have to be cold plunges. It could be walking on coals. It could be skydiving. Like it's those variables can change. Whatever you want to do to put yourself in that state of mind that helps you do that thing, that is still placebo. It doesn't mean it's bad. It means that take out cold plunges, insert X thing that makes you put yourself in the same state of mind, it'll still work. It means that it's not cold plunges, it's whatever you want to do to get yourself in the state of mind, and that's still beneficial. So that's still placebo. Again, I want to take away the negative
Yeah.
cultural idea around placebo that it's fake, it's all in your head. Not no, like it's that is a real thing. People have healed themselves through placebo. It matters. So yeah, it's not if whatever value you get from skydiving, walking in cold plunges, that's still valuable. None of it is taken away from it being placebo. It's just the acknowledgement that you can substitute that thing with other things, and it will still give you that. Uh, that doesn't mean stop doing it altogether because it's fake. No, it works.
Yeah.
That's what it means. So that's all I'm saying. Don't it's not let's say it is all placebo. It doesn't take anything away from what you did, what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
work, whether you recommend people to do it or not, because they could still get all of those things from it. It's still placebo, but they
Yeah.
get it from it, right? Um, the reason why these fallacies are some of these can help people because they could get you into the state of mind, like was it argumentum ad mysterium, listening to music, and going to a good movie with a good story. All of these things will help you realize things about yourself and challenge you. Um, and it's, but you did it in your head, right? Like you could have done it without the music. Uh, any music that somebody composed, it was in their head first, right? And so they got that emotion, and you could have come up with the song hypothetically, but you didn't. So being able to share music, movies, cold plunges, all these experiences, it's still placebo in the scientific sense, but it still matters. So I want to make sure that's very clear.
Yeah.
All of that matters.
Yeah. What I'm hearing from this as well. We talked about an or paradigm versus an and paradigm. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is like it's another visit at that for
yeah. I
me.
mean, you could reiterate it just for
Yeah.
this might be people's first video.
Yeah. So to me, what I'm also hearing here, what you're sharing is highlighting is for me. So an or paradigm is looking at the world from a standpoint of something is either this or that. So example, for me to hear Bryce say placebo, this is placebo. In an or paradigm, I look at the word placebo and I go, placebo is either good or bad, and in this case, it's bad because it's not scientific fact. Scientific fact is good, placebo is bad, or. So it's like looking at these things that there must be an opposite force, and therefore one of them is good, one of them is bad. Scientific evidence is determined as good, therefore placebo is bad because it's not scientific evidence. So or. Versus an and paradigm is to say neither of which is good or bad. They just are, and they come with what they are. And we can decide, and to me, it's like between the two, an or paradigm or an and paradigm. I find an and paradigm to be significantly more effective because we stop going from this place of shame-based action taking, which is in most cases in an or paradigm, we take action to avoid the bad. So it's like the motivation for good is not good. The motivation for good is don't be bad. But in an and paradigm, we then start to look for a whole different way of being, which is optimization. What works best? It's no longer this one's bad, this one's good. It's no, they both exist. Which one is better? Then which one works, and more importantly, which one works better for you? And so in this moment, what I'm totally seeing is that I was in that moment operating from an or paradigm around the word placebo because I was like, you said placebo, and I'm like, what? You know? And it's like no, because placebo is bad. And it's like nope, that's
No,
not
it's great.
not what he's
Placebo
saying.
is so good.
Yeah, yeah. 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 So it's interesting. So anyway, that's another piece of awareness that's coming through for me on this one.
Very good. Well, we made this one extra long. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next time.